You know, it really wasn't my intention to stay in a hotel for a long period of time, to live in a hotel, to rent open-ended in a hotel. I arrived, I made a, from my drive down, I drove here from Ensenada, and I have to say, Ensenada is at the top, almost at the top, of Baja California, which is the little finger that runs alongside of Mexico. It is separated from the mainland of Mexico, in case you are tuning in for the first time, don't know that. And in order to leave Ensenada, you have to drive north for about 4 hours, get over to Mexicali, and then drive parallel to the U.S. border if you don't want to cross the border, which I didn't, and then come on down to Santa Ana, where you can pick up the 15, which is a toll road. And if you're going to do this trip, by the way, take a toll road. Don't try and save money and go on little roads. Take a toll road and get off at dark. Don't be like a hero, okay? Get off, stay at a hotel. So that's what I did, and stayed in Santa Ana, and that's where I was able to catch the toll road down to Mazatlan, and it was not a one-day drive. Maybe it's a one-day drive if you're 21, but when you're 85 going on 86, it ain't a one-day drive. I stopped next, but it was an 8-hour drive to Los Mochis, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing wrong. And then it was only about 5 hours out of Los Mochis, where I had one of the most fabulous meals I'd ever eaten, to Mazatlan. Now, I want to say something about Sonora. Didn't work for me. It's just all desert. And when you drive through the desert, they're like, gas up at every station. Make sure you have a lot of water with you. They're very serious about that, as they well should be, because if you step out of that car when you're in Sonora and suddenly you realize you're like, it's over 100 degrees and it's like hot winds, you don't want to do that. Okay, so here I am in Mazatlan. I rented a hotel room in a small hotel, 10 rooms. It's kind of what they call a boutique hotel. And it's in the area that the Zona Historico, which is where I wanted to find a rental. So the very next day after I was here, I met the owner. He was, I don't know, he hangs around actually. I think he likes it here. It's a nice place, I don't blame him. And he greeted me, blah, 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 and how long I'm gonna stay, a month, and what do you guys, I'm looking for a place to rent. He said, well, you know, I know quite a few things, I could probably help you. I said, oh, great. By then, I met somebody the night before, the first night I was here, who said, oh, there's an apartment in my building, and I can tell my owner, and they're very nice people, and you would like it there. I said, oh, okay, fine. And gave my number, blah, blah. So I had that in my ear, but the very next day after that, in the morning, it was like 9:30 in the morning, I was on my way to the restaurant to get some breakfast, which was included in my rent, and he said, I'm going to upgrade you to the owner's suite, my place. I went, oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I saw it. Here it is. That's part of it. That's the kitchen area with skylights. And then, let me see if I can do this. I can show you the living room area, and that's the patio doors to the outside. And I'm not going to get up and walk around and show you the bedroom. You can just imagine it. Okay. It's quite large. It has a bed big enough for 5 people. I don't really get king-size beds, but me and the dog, you know, we squeeze into one corner. And I said, well, I really like this. And he said, well, you could stay here until November. At the end of November, we have people that come every year, and they usually take this apartment. And I went, but I can find you another room in the hotel until they leave, and then you could come back. And I went, oh, okay. And that sounded fine, because, you know, November sounded a very long way away. But now, it's August 1st, and I don't want to move in November. I want to stay here. We'll see what happens. You know, they come, I don't know where they come from. Canada. A lot of people come from Canada, and he actually is Canadian. He's married to a USA citizen. And they both, you know, bought this hotel about 10 years ago. It's very, very homey, somebody said to me, and I thought that was a really good description. It's very, very homey. And when you live in a hotel, it's very different than when you visit it. For instance, last night, I lost Wi-Fi connection. And I sort of went out to the front desk and said, hey, I came to that one. They said, well, we have it here. And I said, yeah, I know. It shows on my iPad, and it shows that I have it, but I don't have it. Anyway, the bartender, who is apparently a genius at this kind of thing, came by and he gave me alternatives, and we did it, but that didn't work. I was feeling a little frustrated because it was Friday night. I just wanted to hang out. I had worked most of the day off and on editing a 6,000 word story that I'm writing, which is very long for me. I usually do 3,000, but very few people read my work anyway over on WordPress. You can go check out if you want to. It's right there somewhere. And so I said, why don't I just do what I want to do? I want to write a 6,000 word short story. And, because there are rules about this. Short story is supposed to not be more than, I think, 10,000 words. And, well, I'm under that, actually. I think this was not more than 1,500 or 2,000. And I'm at 6,000. That was with editing. I was at 7,000. So I was tired. And I just, I didn't feel like doing much. I didn't feel like socializing, because there's a restaurant and a bar, and I can always, now I know people, besides the waiters, and go in, there's always somebody. I'm not really a drinker, as we all know. I'm like a half a glass of wine in a place where I have to go to sleep now. I never was much of a drinker, but I tried. Now I don't even try. So I gave up. I went, okay, I have a video. I'll just put it in my laptop. I'll watch a video, and I'll just relax. And he came back, and he said, hey, I was at the front desk, and I found another modem. And I have hooked everything in there, here, up to that modem. And he got on there, and he hooked up my laptop, and he hooked up my iPad, and he hooked up the TV, and I got to watch Resident Alien. Are any of us watching Resident Alien? We've always loved Martian stories in the United States. I've always loved it. I remember as a kid, there was My Favorite Martian. Big hit for many years. I don't know, 1963. Then they made a movie of it, I think, sometime around close to 2000. That was very cute. And then, of course, after that came Mindy and Mork, or Mork and Mindy, and that was around for 4 or 5 years. So I was like, when was that? I think it was like 78 to 1982. And, gosh, seems like yesterday. And then there was, right now there's Resident Alien, which has been around for a few years, but it's only now getting over to Netflix, and I've just found it. While the other Alien things were always like adorable, even Ray Walton, who played the Martian, he was an older guy, and he was kind of like some sort of professor or researcher from Mars. And then there was, the lovable and wacky Mork, and the eventual romantic interest between him and Mindy. And then there's this resident alien who is he's come to murder people. He's come to wipe out the planet. And he's just sarcastic, and he really hates humans, or has for a long time. As the story evolves, he gets a little bit more complicated. He faces a moral dilemma. So I'm actually near the end of season 4. So I was very happy that he was able to connect me. And then I said, I would really like room service tonight. I wanted to buy, I want some fish tacos, because this is the other thing, is by living here, they've all gotten to know me, and I have a basic Mediterranean diet. I have a very a low fat, low cholesterol diet, because I have in the past had issues with arteriosclerosis, which I don't have anymore. I was able to reverse it. But it takes a little bit of discipline. I was never really a big meat eater, not for the last 20 or 30 years. But I do eat fish. So I'm not really a vegetarian, but I do eat fish. So, and they know not to fry the fish, we call it plancha, grill the fish. So I started watching Resident Alien, and pretty soon the guy came back, Victor, who's a lovely human being, who supports a daughter, a baby daughter, and she's like 5 or 6. And he came with my lovely plate of tacos. I can't eat 3 tacos, but they come with 3 tacos. And a half glass of wine, because I say, don't even bother wasting the wine, just bring me a half glass. That is what happens when you live in a hotel. People know you, they know what how to make the food for you. They indulge you, in part because it's been very, very slow. It was very slow in July. I was often the only person here besides the owner, who had moved to a front unit, which didn't have a kitchen. He doesn't care. He goes to the restaurant. And the kitchen helps him out. Whatever is the owner. He's actually moved. They have a home. He and his wife have a home nearby, and he's moved over there for, I guess, at least August. August is the month of vacations here in Mexico. So, in the last week or so, we started to have families have come in with their children, and with some single, have a regular number of single guys that come for a couple of days. But I'm the only single woman living here, and I'm obviously also the oldest person in the hotel. And that brings me to, if you get the opportunity to live in a hotel and you're like over 75, do it. Okay? Because here's what happened. We had a thunderstorm and lightning the other day, and it knocked out the electricity. Not my problem. Not my problem. The air conditioner went on the blink. Not my problem. It got fixed. You know. I feel like having fish tacos for dinner. It comes to me. I don't have to make them. I don't have to call Didi or whatever to deliver them. 20 minutes later, it comes to my door. So I also have a car here with me since I drove in, and I'm getting braver about driving it around town because this is a 500-year-old city and the roads are like this wide. And there are not traffic signs. And I've noticed that even though some roads are supposed to go one way, apparently that doesn't apply to everybody. So I'm not ready for that yet. I stick to the Malecon, which is sort of a very long boardwalk, 13-mile boardwalk, which is right around the corner from here. And I walk it every single morning with my dog at about 6 o'clock in the morning because this is it. It's quite hot here. I know it's very hot probably where you are as well, which is unexpected, but this is regular here. In fact, it's cooler this summer because we are starting to have storms. And I have not been as affected by the heat as I was afraid I would be. And that's because of the altitude. That is one of the reasons I chose Mazatlan. Mazatlan is, if you were in Baja California at the U.S.-Mexican border and you drove 1,000 miles south to the tip of Baja California and then took a ferry at night for 14 hours across, it would leave you in Mazatlan. I could have done that, by the way, but it was like going to be $500 approximately, the equivalent of, to take a ferry for 14 hours. Because of my car, it was more expensive. And then you couldn't stay in your car, you had to go upstairs, the dog had to go in separate. I said, I'd just rather drive it, and I did. So now it is August 1st. I am starting my 3rd month here. And so far, I recommend it for everybody who doesn't know what to do with their lives. I can really not afford to do this in the United States. It's not because it's incredibly cheap. It isn't. But it is less than $2,000 a month, and it includes my breakfasts. And of course, things like my laundry is done. I don't pay electric. I don't pay gas. I don't pay any utilities whatsoever. I do have to pay for my phone, which is like $10 a month, my cell phone. So here I am. Here I am. Where are you today?